So it's been a minute since I've used Pro Tools, so bear with me. Anyways, welcome to the first episode of the Cat Olive Chronicles. My name is Kato, and the reason for doing this vlog series podcast is that a ton of people ask me questions all the time about the music business, what I did to get where I am, how do you go from unsuccessful artist to perception-based successful promoter. So guess we'll start. Basically, this podcast or vlog series is called the Cat Olive Chronicles because back in 2015, I was on tour with On Cue, Nate Millions, and Kyle Lucas. And people kept coming up to me after shows asking me to put in my information so they could follow me on social media. And every time that you would type Kato Live into Twitter or Instagram, any phone would automatically try to autocorrect it and say Cat Olive. So that kind of just became the joke of the tour, because I was tour managing and performing, and then people would be like, oh shit, there's Cat Olive, don't piss him off. Whenever I'd get mad or I'd need to go handle something business-wise, they'd be like, oh shit, it's Cat Olive, Cat Olive's gonna handle this. So that name kind of stuck. And then in 2016, when I was given the opportunity to quit my job, I released a compilation album with some new singles on it, basically as a closing of my artist career and opening me up to full-time promoter called the Cat Olive Chronicles, and I've always liked that name, so I figured, why not? Let's go with that. So just to preface this, I don't know how long this series of these topics is going to go. I'm typing them out. I'm also going to just go off the top of the dome. I'm going to try not to get into rants. I'm going to be extremely blunt. I'm probably going to cuss a lot. So if you don't like it, you don't want to hear cussing, then turn it off. But I cuss, especially when I think it's relevant to getting my point across. So basically, vlog episode 1 is going to be how to get and ask and answer the right questions, or how to ask and answer the right questions. Basically, what I mean is this. You may watch this, you may listen to this if you've never heard of me or know who I am, and say, how do you feel like you have the credentials to talk on these things? And I can tell you right now that since I was 17 years old, I spent all of my time, every single minute, trying to learn and work my ass off in the industry. And everything that I'm going to do moving forward is all based around first-hand mistakes that I made, and then learning what I feel now is my best way of doing things. I'm not saying that everything I say is going to be your best way of doing things, but I feel like, honestly, if you commit to doing the core basics of these things, then you can kind of expand and go off on different paths and figure out something that works better for you, because not something that works for me is going to work for everybody. But I do feel like if it's a 10-step process and I can make the mistakes 1 through 7 and then give you the right answers and all that crap on the first 7, that you might be able to figure out 8, 9, and 10 on your own, because you've done the first 7 correctly. So anyways, all right, good. If you ever see me peeking off, it's because I got like 30 things going on. I don't just do this. I run CLM Presents. I run Louisville Concerts. I run 3 other businesses. I manage 5 artists. So this is very hard to take time to do this shit. So anyways, just backstory on me. I started doing music when I was 17 years old. I've done 2 nationwide tours that I booked and performed on. I've done 6 different Midwest runs. I've done an East Coast run. I've worked with Chris Webby since 2013. I'm working with Jonas right now. I've worked with On Cue, and these are like direct relationships to where I was booking them and working on events to get them hopefully bigger. Right now I manage Nate Millions, who I've managed for 2.5, 3 years. Is my brother from another mother. Also work with Ryan Bronson, Mac A Million, Jay Flight, DJ Ray Mills, and DJ Inferno. Just trying to give these guys the information like I'm giving you guys, but in a completely more catered and tailored way to sculpt their image, their brand, their business, and just get them more gigs. But anyways, collectively, I have done over 450 events. since 2010, I think, everywhere. Like I said, I was 2 national tours. I've been a booking agent with an agency. I've booked directly for Chris Webby. I've booked directly for On Cue. I've been a talent buyer for another business. I would say that I am the culmination of the word producing events when it comes to CLM Presents, because I do everything A to Z. I do have a few people on my team that help me with those, but at the same time, everything at the end of the day comes through me. I'm the decision maker. I'm the one that either goes on history or what I see currently happening in the industry and the market, and then also a lot of times these decisions are based on my gut feeling. And I think right now, middle of the year, it's July 3rd right now, I think by the end of the year, the company itself is going to be in the best spot it's been in a long time. And I think I would have only ignored my gut twice, meaning that I took 2 shows that I was like, oh, I think I can make this work, and then it's been nothing but chaos since, and just haven't gotten anything out of it that I really want to. But either way, life is life and goes on. So yeah, 450 shows from talent buying, probably like 75 shows talent buying for other people. As an artist myself, that I just booked myself on the show. I didn't run the event. I've probably done over 150 live performances. And then as far as actually producing a show, as far as like I'm A to Z guy, 200, maybe more. So maybe we're looking at 450 shows. Maybe my math is a little bit off, but I haven't actually sat down and counted it all out. But that's a lot of fucking shows, and a lot of times that I've had to be a dick. A lot of times that shows have gone great, they've sucked, and I'm heavily involved in producing top tier talent for Super Bowl. That was like the best and worst time of my life. So I hope that I actually sound halfway intelligent when I talk about this shit, and I'm sorry if I'm all over the map, but like I said, I got a million things going on, and there's just so many things I want to say, and I want to say it in the right way that doesn't make people want to turn this off. And also, by the way, I'm going to try to keep a lot of these under 10 minutes, 12 minutes actually, just to keep people's attention spans, and I don't want to take up everybody's time. But this first episode might be 15 to 20, just because I feel like there's a lot I have to cover as far as giving you my credentials and my background, so you know that I'm not out here just talking shit, and that I actually mean what I fucking say. So, if you're trying to be an artist, these are some things that I think that you just right out the gates need to ask yourself, because this is going to... how you answer them will dictate where you go as an artist, how far you go as an artist, and honestly, like, if you're built for this shit. Because it's not something that you're just like, oh, hey, man, I like to write music, and I bought a microphone from fucking Musician's Friend, or I have an M-Box, and whoop-de-fucking-do, man. Like, everybody can do that. That's how I started. Like, I went to school for audio production. I didn't go to, like, IPR or one of these specific schools, but I actually went to a 4-year school and studied mass communications and speech communication and radio and TV and all this shit, and my focus at that time was to do music. And this is the honest God truth, man, and if someone tells you differently, they're a fucking liar. Anybody who goes to school for specifics of audio recording is doing it for one reason, but that one reason has a couple of like ABCs off of it. It's because they themselves want to be a musician. B, or 2, they have a friend who wants to be a musician, or they're a producer. That's the only fucking reason. And there are guys in the industry now that have been doing it for 15, 20, 50 fucking years that are like the best in the biz, that just got into it and then quickly realized after 5 to 10 years that maybe they're not cut out for the artist side, and they just stuck with it. And those guys are the best in the business now. So anyways, the questions you need to ask yourself: why am I doing music? Why? Why do you want to do music? And not because like, oh, I feel like I have a story that people need to hear. No, you don't. You don't have a story that people need to hear. You really fucking don't. And like I could say that about every artist that's in the industry right now. Like, why do I need to hear your story? I don't. It's like American Idol and The Voice. Like, all of a sudden you had this raw, really cool new show that was super dope. And then as soon as like corporate America got a hold of it, it turned into this crybaby fucking backstory.
Oh, I've been trying to do music for 5 years, and if this is my only shot...
Like, this is so stupid. Like, nobody gives a shit about your backstory except for people who are sad and pathetic. Like, that's the truth. Like, don't you have better shit to do in your life? Like, ask yourself, why am I doing music? Are you trying to be cool? Like, is it a means to an end for you to make money? Or is it because you think you have a group of friends that are like, man, you should rap, you have cool bars, and like, whatever your answer is, make sure it's right for you, but then you need to answer multiple questions after that, because you're gonna fall flat on your face, or you're just gonna keep doing it for the same reason and never progress, never get better, never grow, and you're gonna end up 40 years old wondering what the fuck happened the last 25 years of your life. Like, that's just the truth. So once you answer that question, you need to just start whittling down your other questions and your answers. Why does anyone care? Why does anyone care that I'm doing music? If you've got 100 friends that you think are going to multiply and turn into 200 and 300 and 400, I've seen that happen, then yeah, let's do it. But if you've got 1 or 2 friends that are like, oh, you should do music, and you like are not social, you have no friends, like maybe you need to reevaluate. Like maybe you need to think of other ways and reasons why you're doing music. So again, why does anyone care? Most likely no one gives a shit about it but you, and you'll most likely waste a majority of your 20s chasing a dream that will never happen. And I'm telling you that from first-hand experience. I can't even count the amount of money that was spent from the time I was 20 years old, like until I quit, till I was 30, till 31. Like, I can't even tell you. Now, do I look at those 11 years and say, shit, that was a waste of fucking time? No, not collectively, because it gave me all of the experience that I have now, and I'm still in the business. Like, if you aren't able to translate that into something else that keeps you in the business, then yes, you are going to waste a large portion of your life. You're going to be very fucking salty. You're going to just be... Anybody who tries to tell you that you're wasting your time is immediately a hater, or they're trying to drag you down. Like, it's just gonna be, it's gonna suck your life away, and you're gonna fucking grow old and bitter and be, oh, remember that time that I was a rapper and I was 27, man, I almost made it. Like, no, you didn't. Like, it's just, they're really good. There's a lot of talent out there, and you can be really, really, really good, man, and it just never happens for you. And you just, even if you're good at something, like, you need to just ask yourself the basics, and if you have the ability to go further than the next person. Because I don't think anybody should have a 9-to-5 if they don't want to. If they have an actual dream and an art that they can follow and pursue because they're good, that's fantastic. Please jump off and take that leap, but just understand that there's a window of time that you need to answer other questions to be like literally legit. Don't just be a struggling artist your whole life, because you're not going to be happy. So next one is just like, what's the purpose for me making music? You know, who are you talking to? Who does your music relate to? You know, once you can start answering why, who cares? Okay, well then, okay, you've answered those. Maybe you do have good answers, and you figure, like, let's do this, okay? Answer, what's the purpose? You know, who are you writing your story to? Are you an adopted child? Did you grow up in a single parent home? You know, were you low income family? Did you lose a relative? You know, like, do you have a terminal illness? Like, there's so many things that, you know, when you release that kind of content, mainstream America doesn't care. Like, at first you have to grow a fan base to people who are in the same type of situation as you, because those are the people that are going to hear your music, and they're going to really latch onto it, and those are going to be the people that really help you get to that next level. So once you figure that out, you know, now you need to start thinking about, well, what type of content am I releasing? You know, am I doing just singles, albums, videos? You know, start looking at that. Start making a plan for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Like, think of yourself as you just signed to a record label, and start trying to do research and figure out, okay, well, if, you know, The Game signs, I don't know, like a 5-year deal, how many records is he supposed to put out in 5 years? Is that, you know, just start plotting that shit out, and then start looking at, holy crap, how much money is this going to cost me? If you don't have a direct correlation to a friend that's a videographer, or a direct correlation to someone who's a mix engineer or a recording studio, like, you need to really evaluate your financial situation, because it's just another way that if you don't, you know, you may do something really, really great that gets you really, really excited, but then you are working a shitty ass job somewhere that's not supporting you financially in any way that you need. And when you have to start making decisions on paying the rent or buying food to pay for music, like, those are some hard life choices. Really fucking hard. And I would not wish those types of decisions upon anybody. Point with that is, it's an expensive habit. expensive fucking habit. So once you answer those again, now you start asking yourself, well, where am I going to release this? Okay, well, nowadays, I don't even want to say nowadays because it sounds stupid, but for the last 10, 12, 15 fucking years, like, CDs have gone away. So, like, you know, how do you get someone to stumble on your music? How do you get someone to find your music? Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, all this shit. Like, where are you going to put it out? To make sure that the people that you're trying to relate to, like, what do they have, man? Do they have YouTube music? Do they have SoundCloud? Like, what the fuck does everybody have? And then the real question, this is the question that I think outweighs every other one. What do you want from music? You know, is it just purely an outlet that you're going to do leisurely as a habit that you just don't fucking care what happens? You know, you have a job. You know, you're happy with your job. You're happy with your life. You have no intentions of pursuing a music career. You just want to write songs and maybe, you know, you record a couple of tracks. And this, again, applies to all genres. All genres, again. Don't think that I'm just talking strictly to rappers here. You know, if that's what you want to do, great. But if that's not what you want and you're like, damn, I really want to make this into something big, like, okay, well, what do you want from it? If you ask most young people, their answer is, I want to be famous. I want to be rich and famous. Well, you're a fucking moron. You're fucking stupid. Because if that's the pipe dream that you're chasing, God, you're going to fall flat on your face every time until maybe you get it right. But the chances of you getting it right are so fucking slim. And that, again, that's not me telling you that because I'm trying to, like, dwarf your potential or your possibilities of making that happen. But if that's your only goal, God, you are going to be sadly mistaken when you actually start getting a little bit of recognition, because the music industry is not about being rich and famous anymore. The people who are already rich and famous are already rich and famous because the industry made them that way 20 fucking years ago when it was MTV and radio actually fucking mattered. Nowadays, it fly by the seat of your pants. I could stumble upon 12 different mumble rappers on Spotify tomorrow and I could have 16 new favorite ones and I don't fucking know. You know, it's just, it's so quick. Like, the attention span is so, it's fucking Percocet popping, Zan lean drinking morons that they can't grasp on just anything for longer than 5 seconds. So if you think making music is about fame and fortune, there's not a chance. It's about money spent, heartbreak, letdowns, lonely road trips, gas station food like tornado hot dogs and stopping 10 minutes later to shit your brains out. It's missing family celebrations and disappointment. That's really what music is about. That's the fucking truth. And if your goal is to make a living off of music, you can do that. You can make a living off of music. You know, you have to have the right support staff. You have done your homework. Answer these basic questions. And there's probably 50 more questions that you should probably figure out and answer for yourself first. But, you know, think about those. So support staff, some sort of financial backing, whether or not it's yourself or an investor, a plan, a brand, a look, the right platforms that appropriately represent your brand, merchandise, decent video work, decent audio recordings, and honestly, like, I would say 15 years ago it was about being good. It's not about being good anymore. Like, it doesn't matter about if you're good. I mean, does anybody actually think Lil Nas X is good? No, he sucks. He's fucking horrible. But he has the biggest song in the goddamn world. So that's the point. First episode, that's the point. If you want to be an artist, how to ask and answer the right questions. There's an answer out there to every one of these questions that I just laid out there. And, you know, don't think that you've asked yourself these questions and then you watch this and say, oh, well, fuck, Kato's telling me I'm a fucking moron. That's not the truth, man. I'm not telling you what you are or are not. I'm just trying to give you a different perspective of things that I've literally experienced in my 14 years of trying to be a rapper to now full-time being a promoter. And I see a lot of artists in the Minnesota scene that are doing things really, really well. And I would like to think that just because I interact with them in a professional manner from CLM. I think that kind of rubs off on how I would like to see them interact with me. And I think that in some way, shape, or form, they're actually starting to take those little tidbits and incorporate that into their own musical career. And I fucking think that's great. So, anyways, man, I'm Kato, Cat Olive Chronicles. This is episode 1, 21 minutes long, whatever the hell it is. Each one will not be this long. I hope that you guys like this. I'd love to hear feedback and comments. And honestly, man, I'd like to really see you guys just comment and tell me what you want me to talk about, because I have it laid out, but I will freestyle and talk about shit that I had not planned on. So anyways, peace, guys. Love you. Take it easy.